Title: He's just a warehouse worker, my wife's dad told his business partners. My wife's sister smirked. So embarrassing. I smiled silently. The TV in the room began, "Meet the tech world's newest billion-dollar CEO." Start: I remember that night like it was etched in acid. Their laughter still echoes in my ears. The condescending clink of champagne glasses. The subtle smirk of my wife's sister as she whispered, "So embarrassing." I smiled silently. The TV in the room began, "Meet the tech world's newest billion-dollar CEO." Start: I remember that night like it was etched in acid. Their laughter still echoes in my ears. The condescending clink of champagne glasses. The subtle smirk of my wife's sister as she whispered, "So embarrassing." Her father leaned back, chest puffed, eyes scanning his colleagues like a general showing off a trophy. "He's just a warehouse worker," he said. I smiled, carefully, silently. Inside, my hands were already making lists, plotting movements no one could foresee. I had loved this family once. I had trusted them. I had married their daughter, believing in a shared future, in bonds stronger than money or pride. We ate dinners together, celebrated birthdays, shared secrets. I had carried their laughter in my chest, stored it, cherished it, until that night, until I realized the truth. I noticed the signs first in small doses. Conversations cut short when I entered the room. A glance too sharp from my father-in-law. My wife's sister asking, almost innocently, about my income, my education, my ambitions. I laughed it off, played the part. But the sting remained. The moment crystallized when I overheard their whispers during the holiday party, half jokes, half contempt, plotting subtle ways to make me feel smaller, invisible, a mistake they tolerated only because of my wife. Betrayal doesn't arrive in a single strike. It creeps in, poisoning moments you thought were safe. That night, the poisoning reached the marrow. I went home, alone, and for the first time saw them clearly. I felt my own heart turning cold, not with hate exactly, but with calculation. I began planning. No rash moves, no shouting, no confronting with bare hands. I built slowly. I traced every connection, every thread of influence they wielded. I studied their finances, their public records, their social patterns. I signed documents, created shell companies, secured intellectual property rights quietly, invisibly. Every move was designed to place me in a position they would never suspect. Meanwhile, I played the fool. I worked nights in that warehouse, hauling boxes, nodding politely at their jabs, absorbing every insult as fuel. "Warehouse worker, they repeated like a mantra. I learned their habits, their weaknesses. I watched their egos, carefully cataloging where arrogance met vulnerability. And then, the first move. I launched my startup from nothing. Quietly. Barely anyone knew. I leveraged my industry knowledge, my side projects, my contacts. They thought I was dreaming, wasting time, invisible. I cultivated investors, pitched ideas, patented technology they had mocked me for discussing at dinner. Every contract, every handshake, every agreement was a thread in a web that would soon entangle them. Years passed. I watched from the shadows. They continued to belittle me, unaware that I had already built a company capable of eclipsing theirs. Then came the day of the public reveal. It was subtle at first, a news article, then an interview, then a live TV segment. Meet the tech world's newest billion-dollar CEO. The camera panned to my face. I smiled. The same calm smile I wore when they humiliated me. The same smile they never took seriously. I watched their faces, live, on a feed I had carefully arranged for their viewing. The father-in-law's jaw dropped. My wife's sister froze, mid-sip of her wine. They tried to mask shock with forced laughter. Too late, too slow, too late to undo the years of silent preparation I had orchestrated. Their empire had depended on appearances, on ridicule, on underestimating those they deemed beneath them. And now, the scales had shifted. Every sneer, every condescending word, every dismissive glance, they had fed the monster they didn't realize they were raising. I confronted them only once, privately. No shouting, no pleading. Just me, calm, poised, and finally visible in their world as I had always been invisible to them. "You thought I was nothing," I said. "You thought I was small. But you were wrong. Every step I took was forward. Every move you mocked me for, I built it into the foundation of something you can't touch." Their faces paled. Their arrogance faltered. My wife's sister tried to speak, to justify herself, but words faltered. The father-in-law's eyes burned, not with anger, but with the bitter realization that he had underestimated. The quiet, the still, the unnoticed. And then I left. I didn't gloat. I didn't revel in the spectacle for long. That's not the point of revenge. The point is quiet dominance, inevitability, a shift so total that their past cruelty becomes irrelevant. I walked away, watched the news, watched the accolades pour in, and let them simmer in the understanding that they had lost, not by chance, but by their own arrogance. Now, sometimes I hear echoes of their whispers. Occasionally, someone will mention my name with a hint of disbelief. Warehouse worker? Billion-dollar CEO? I smile. Always silently. Always controlled. I built an empire from the shadows they never saw. I turned their contempt into the scaffold of my success. And in the still moments, I admit it to myself. Satisfaction doesn't taste like shouting or confrontation. It tastes like inevitability, patience, and the quiet knowledge that the world I have now, every inch of it, is mine, carefully carved from their arrogance. I am not bitter. I am precise. I am victorious. And they will never forget the lesson. Underestimate me, and you are already defeated.